Welcome dear friends to this video lecture on part D, that is 1D of Educational Studies, Unit 1 of Education. What are the contents here in this unit? Socialization and education, education and culture, contribution of thinkers like Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, Aurobindo, J. Krishnamurti, Paulo Freire, Wollstonecraft, Nell Nodings, and Savitribai Phule, to the development of educational thought for social change. And finally, national values as enshrined in the Indian Constitution, that is socialism, secularism, justice, liberty, democracy, equality, freedom, with a special reference to education. Dear friends, we will be discussing the most important ideas and insights with regard to these headings, with these topics, and we'll give very important questions. In a way, it will be very short for you, so that just before the exam, it will be of great help to you to understand and keep fixed the necessary concepts for the examinations. God bless you abundantly. Let us straight away enter into the topic. That is socialization and education, education and culture. What is socialization of education? What is the definition and role of socialization? Socialization, Samuhamayamakkal, is the process through which individuals learn and internalize the values, beliefs, norms and skills needed to function as members of society. Education is a formal mechanism of socialization where structured learning environments like schools and universities impart knowledge, skills and cultural values. What are the agents of socialization? Family, peers, that is friends, schools and media are key agents of socialization. Schools play a critical role in secondary socialization, secondary school socialization, complementing the primary level socialization provided by the family. So these are agents of socialization. Educational institutions and social norms. Schools transmit societal norms and values promoting social cohesion and stability. The hidden curriculum in schools teaches social expectations, discipline, values and conformity alongside academic content. Let us discuss on education and culture. School transmits culture from one generation to another generation. Cultural transmission. Education serves as a medium for cultural transmission, passing down cultural heritage, language and traditions from one generation to the next generation. This process ensures cultural continuity and helps maintain societal identity. Then cultural diversity in education. Educational systems must ensure cultural diversity, accommodating different cultural backgrounds and perspectives. People come from different family backgrounds, different language groups, different areas even. So the cultural diversity in education. Multicultural education promotes inclusivity, respect for diversity and cross-cultural understanding. Multicultural education like CBSE schools, international schools, where different peoples from different nationalities come and study. This is a multicultural education. It promotes inclusivity, that is, everybody is accepted. Respect for diversity. People begin to respect every other person in the institution wherever they come from. Then cross-cultural understanding. Different cultures are understood by the students. That is multicultural education. Then globalization and cultural exchange. Globalization influences education by introducing new cultural elements and perspectives, leading to a more diverse and interconnected curricula. Globalization, உலகளாவிய கல்வி. அதன் வழியாக கலாச்சார பரிமாற்றம். Students gain a global perspective, learning about different cultures and world views. Then another important aspect here in education and culture, the cultural capital. Cultural capital refers to the non-financial social assets. That is no money involved here. So non-financial social assets like education, intellect, style of speech, dress, that promotes social mobility. So that comes under cultural capital. கலாச்சார மூலதனம் என்பது இதுதான். பணம் அல்லாத மற்ற விஷயங்கள். Educational attainment is a key component of cultural capital affecting individuals' opportunities and social status. Now let us discuss on the interrelationship between education and culture. What is the influence of culture on education? Cultural values shape educational goals, content, teaching methods, and the organization of educational institutions. Societal attitudes towards education, example, the value placed on academic achievement, are deeply rooted in cultural norms. So that way there is an influence of culture on education. The society always values highly talented people in education. Then education as a catalyst for cultural change. கிரியா ஊக்கியாக செயல்படுகிறது. கலாச்சார மாற்றத்திற்கு கல்வி கிரியா ஊக்கியாக செயல்படுகிறது. Education can drive cultural change by challenging existing norms and introducing new ideas and technologies. Progressive education, புரட்சிகரமான கல்வி, progressive education reforms can lead to shifts in cultural attitudes and practices. Then bilingual and multicultural education. Bilingual means two language study. Two-language medium education. Bilingual education supports a cultural preservation and promotes cognitive benefits associated with multilingualism. Multicultural education actually fosters an inclusive environment where students from diverse backgrounds feel valued and respected. So this is another aspect in the education and culture aspects. What are the key insights with regard to socialization and education, or culture and education? Integration of socialization and education. Effective education integrates the socialization processes, equipping students with both academic knowledge and social skills necessary for societal participation. What is the role of educators in this? Teachers are pivotal in mediating cultural values and norms, acting as role models and cultural transmitters. Then there is a concept called cultural sensitivity and competence. Educators and educational systems must be culturally sensitive and competent, recognizing and valuing the diverse cultural backgrounds of students. Then lifelong learning. Socialization and education are ongoing processes extending beyond formal schooling to lifelong learning and adaptation in a constantly changing cultural landscape. So understanding the interplay between socialization, education and culture helps educators, policymakers and society at large to create more effective and inclusive educational systems that respect and nurture cultural diversity while promoting total cohesion and individual growth. Sorry, let me switch on the light. Dear friends, what is socialization? Let us discuss some important questions related to this topic. What is socialization? It is a process by which individuals learn and adopt the behaviors and norms of their culture, or the process of changing one's behavior to fit into a new culture, or the formal instruction received in schools and educational institutions, the development of personal relationship within a community. What is socialization? Of course, it is mingling with others in the society, especially in the school. So it is a process by which individuals learn and adopt the behaviors and norms of their culture. That is socialization. So socialization is the process through which individuals learn and internalize the values, beliefs and norms of their culture, enabling them to function as members of society. Question 2. Which of the following best describes the relationship between education and culture? Education is a means of preserving and transmitting culture. Culture is created and maintained solely through educational institutions. Certainly wrong. Education and culture are unrelated concepts. Certainly not at all true. Actually, they are intertwined, interconnected. Education hinders culture at all. That is also not true. So, what is the correct answer? Which best describes the relationship between education and culture? Education is a means of preserving and transmitting culture. பாதுகாப்பது மற்றும் கடத்துவது, கலாச்சாரத்தை கடத்துவதுதான் கல்வியினுடைய மிக மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு பணி. Education plays a crucial role in the preservation and transmission of culture by passing cultural knowledge, traditions and values from one generation to the next generation. So let us analyze the next question. Which of the following is an example of informal education? Is it attending a history class in school, participating in a community workshop, learning cultural norms through family interactions, taking an online certification course? Which is the right one? What is the question? Which of the following is an example of informal education? That is learning cultural norms through family interactions. Family interactions, they are not giving the lessons as in the class. By nature, children learn through the interactions with the family members. So the learning cultural norms through family interactions is the example for informal education. It happens spontaneously. Informal education refers to learning that occurs outside of a structured formal classroom setting. It often happens naturally through family, peers, media and daily interactions. Let us analyze the next question. In the context of socialization, what is the role of a primary socialization agent? To provide formal education and professional training, to serve as the first and most influential source of socialization, to enforce societal laws and regulations, to offer specialized knowledge in specific fields. What is the question? In the context of socialization, what is the role of a primary socialization agent? Well, that is the primary social agent serves as the first and most influential source of socialization. What are the primary socialization agents? Family, very important one, family. Even the church, any temple, the place of worship. Primary socialization agents such as family members are crucial in shaping an individual's early development by instilling foundational norms, அடிப்படையான விதிகள், foundational norms, values and behaviors. Now let us analyze the next question. How does cultural diversity impact education? கலாச்சார வேறுபாடு எவ்வாறு செல்வாக்கு செலுத்துகிறது கல்வியின் மேல்? It simplifies the curriculum by focusing on a single cultural perspective. It enriches the educational experience by exposing students to multiple perspectives. It creates confusion and hinders effective teaching. It leads to the loss of traditional educational values. So how does cultural diversity impact education? It enriches the educational experience by exposing students to multiple perspectives. So that is the important one. Cultural diversity, கலாச்சார வேறுபாடு. Cultural diversity in education allows students to gain a broader understanding of different cultures, fostering tolerance, empathy, and a more comprehensive worldview. Let us analyze the next question. What is the hidden curriculum in educational settings? மறைந்த curriculum, மறைந்திருக்கக்கூடிய கலைத்திட்டம், educational settings. The values come under this actually. The values are caught rather than taught. Through lectures you cannot teach the values. Somehow or other they have to catch the values through the teachers, through the educational atmosphere, through their friends, through the elders, etc., etc. That is hidden curriculum. So what is the hidden curriculum in educational settings? The explicit content taught in school subjects, the underlying messages and social norms conveyed through the educational environment, the extracurricular activities offered by schools, or the official curriculum mandated by educational authorities. So what is the hidden curriculum in educational settings? The underlying messages and social norms conveyed through the educational environment. That's very important. In a hidden way, in an unconscious way, certain values are learned by the student through the educational environment. That is the right answer. The underlying messages and the social norms conveyed through educational environment. That is the hidden curriculum in educational settings. The hidden curriculum refers to the implicit lessons, values and expectations that are communicated to students through the culture and organization of the educational system beyond the official curriculum. Question 7, next question we will be discussing. Which theory emphasizes the role of education in maintaining social inequality? We already done that, but anyway it has come again. Conflict theory, right? We already explained it enough in the previous slide video lectures. Which theory emphasizes the role of education in maintaining social inequality? That is conflict theory. Conflict theory suggests that education perpetuates social inequality by reinforcing existing class structures and power dynamics, often benefiting dominant groups while marginalizing others. Of course, we explained enough. This is the domination of the power structure over the simple people. No, that is conflict. That is what conflict theory. That happens in the educational setting also. So, some sort of educational style of functioning maintains social inequality. That's truth, no doubt about it. No, we just see everywhere, right? Next question: what is the cultural capital according to Pierre-Bourdieu? I think he is the one who has coined this term, perhaps cultural capital, or he has given a treatise on cultural capital, Kalachara Mooladhanam. So, what is cultural capital according to this person, Pierre-Bourdieu? The financial resources available for cultural activities, the knowledge, skills and education that the individual possesses which can give them an advantage in society, the physical infrastructure for cultural events, the overall cultural heritage of a society. Which is the right one? What is cultural capital? This is nothing but the knowledge, skills and education that individuals possess which can give them an advantage in society. Educated persons are respected, in other words. They are given honor everywhere in the world. That is the idea. That is a cultural capital. Kalachara Mooladhanam. So the cultural capital refers to the non-economic assets that enable social mobility, such as education, intellect, style of speech and even dress, which Bourdieu argued can influence an individual's success in society. So, cultural capital helps the individual become successful in society, because of the society expects such people, values such people. Next question: how can education promote social cohesion? சமூக ஒருமைப்பாட்டை எவ்வாறு நிலைநிறுத்துகிறது கல்வி? How can education promote social cohesion? By isolating students from different cultural backgrounds. Is it true? By teaching a uniform set of cultural practices and values. Is it true? By encouraging critical thinking and respect for diversity. Is it true? By focusing exclusively on vocational training. Is it true? So how can education promote social cohesion? That is by encouraging critical thinking and respect for diversity. விமர்சன சிந்தனையையும் அந்த கலாச்சார வேறுபாட்டை மதிக்க செய்வதிலும் எஜுகேஷன் கல்வி என்பது இந்த சமூக ஒருமைப்பாட்டை நிலைநிறுத்து இதன் வழியாக. By encouraging critical thinking and respect for diversity, education can promote a social cohesion by fostering an environment that values diversity, encourages critical thinking, and teaches students to respect and understand different perspectives and cultural backgrounds. The next question, what is the significance of multicultural education? Multicultural, different cultures, people from different cultures come and get education. That is multicultural education. It focuses solely on the dominant culture of a society. Is it true? It integrates diverse cultural perspectives into the curriculum. Is it true? It discourages the study of minority cultures. Is it true? It limits the students' exposure to global issues. Is it true? What is the significance of multicultural education? It integrates diverse cultural perspectives into the curriculum. பல வேறுபட்ட கலாச்சார பார்வைகளை ஒன்றிணைக்கிறது. கலைத்திட்டத்தின் வழியாக ஒன்றிணைப்பதுதான் மல்டிகல்ச்சரல் எஜுகேஷன். Multicultural education aims to include diverse cultural perspectives in the curriculum, promoting understanding, respect and appreciation for cultural diversity and helping students navigate a multicultural world. Next, I think we go to the next area, part B, and we are going to give everything in one in the same. Actually part D, it has got 3 parts. One part is over. The next part about various philosophers and their educational ideas with regard to the social change. That is what we are going to learn now very shortly. Not very detailed notes this one. The most important ideas will be given. Of course, contribution of thinkers Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, Aurobindo, J. Krishnamurti, Paulo Freire, Wollstonecraft, Nell Rawlings and Savitribai Phule to the development of educational thought for social change. Let us understand the key contributions of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda emphasized the role of education in character building, very important one. He focused on character building in education, character building. He advocated for a holistic approach, integrating spiritual, intellectual and physical education. That is the all-round development of the students. And he promoted, Swami Vivekananda promoted self-reliance and moral values through education. Very, very important concept of contribution of Swami Vivekananda, self-reliance. தன்காலை நம்பி செல்லுதல், தன்னை நம்பி எதையும் செய்து, self-reliance, சுய நம்பிக்கை. So, Swami Vivekananda promoted self-reliance and moral values through education because he believed in character building through education. What are the educational implications of Vivekananda's ideas? Curriculum should include moral and spiritual education. Education should focus on developing the full potential of the individual. That is, மாணவனுடைய உள்ளார்ந்த ஆற்றல்கள் அனைத்தையும் வெளிக்கொணர்வதிலே கல்வி கருத்து செலுத்த வேண்டும். So, that is a focus on developing the full potential of the individual. And then it encourages, education should encourage self-reliance and personal responsibility in students. The most important idea, self-reliance and character building. That is what Swami Vivekananda held as most important educational aspects. The next one, Rabindranath Tagore. What are the key contributions of Rabindranath Tagore? He advocated for creative and artistic expression in education. Not only information, but arts, even that village exposure programs. So he advocated for creative and artistic expression in education. He founded Visva Bharati University, emphasizing a blend of Western and Eastern educational practices. He stressed the importance of nature and the experiential learning. I think 1951 the Visva Bharati University was started. So, what are the key contributions? Creative and artistic expression in education. So, if you go to Shantiniketan near Calcutta, you will see that, under the tree they will be studying. There will be separate rooms for these art forms, musical instruments and dance forms all over. Different dance forms in India will be given as artistic expression in education. If you go there, you will find out. Okay, he advocated for creative and artistic expression in education. He founded Viswabharati University, emphasizing a blend of Western and Eastern educational practices. So, இணைக்கும் பாடம், மேற்கத்திய கிழக்கத்திய கல்வி செயல்பாடுகளை இணைக்கும் பாடமாக இந்த விஸ்வபாரதி யூனிவர்சிட்டி இருந்தது. He stressed the importance of nature and experiential learning. That is why education is given, learning is given under the trees. The teacher and everyone will be seated under the tree, of course with the mats being spread, and in a circular manner students will be sitting, and the teacher in a small not a chair exactly, as we used to have it at home, a small platform will be there. There he will be sitting and then teaching. You could witness that in Shantiniketan. So education system is just the importance of nature and experiential learning. What are the educational implications? Education system should incorporate arts and music and literature. Education system should incorporate arts and music and literature. Learning environment should be close to nature and encourage creativity. That is his idea, education implications. Education through nature, in other words. Then it should encourage creativity in the students. And then schools should promote a global perspective on cultural exchange in education. So Viswabharati University, it invites students from all over the world. So global perspective Tagore is having, and that is displayed even now in Viswabharati University near Calcutta. Let us discuss on Mahatma Gandhi now. What are his key contributions of Mahatma Gandhi? Very important idea is that he developed the concept of basic education. That's called Nai Talim. Nai Talim means the concept of basic education, focusing on learning through productive work. What is the meaning of Nai Talim? That is learning through productive work. Very important point for Mahatma Gandhi. He emphasizes self-sufficiency and practical skills. And don't forget this. Of course, like Vivekananda, self-help, isn't it? Self-help is the best help. Likewise, self-sufficiency and practical skills. Then Mahatma Gandhi advocated for education to be accessible to all, especially marginalized communities. So he promoted mass education. Actually, Mahatma Gandhi was the one who promoted education for all the people. In a way, he promoted mass education. Education for all, including every other person in India. So he advocated for education to be accessible to all, especially marginalized communities, poor communities. What are the educational implications on Mahatma Gandhi's ideas? The schools and the educational institutions should integrate vocational training and practical skills in the curriculum. Very important thing, vocational training and practical skills. Then educational institutions should promote values of non-violence, self-reliance and community service. Very important thing, community service, according to Mahatma Gandhi. So that rural reconstruction, he believed in the rural reconstruction. கிராமத்தை மறுசீரமைப்பு செய்தார். He was believing in it, community service. Then another educational implication of Mahatma Gandhi's idea is that educational institutes should ensure inclusive education, addressing the needs of all societal sections. In the modern world, we think of inclusive education, but Mahatma Gandhi himself was welcoming that idea in his times. So he ensured inclusive education, addressing the needs of all types of people in India. So let us now concentrate on the ideas of Sri Aurobindo. What are his key contributions? He advocated for integral education. So integral yoga, integral education means it is equated with the Sri Aurobindo. Don't forget, often they are asking this question. So Sri Aurobindo advocated for integral education, ஒருங்கிணைந்த கல்வி, addressing physical, emotional, mental and spiritual development. He emphasized self-discovery and personal growth. He stressed the importance of inner development and consciousness in education. So very important, self-discovery and personal growth. He stressed the importance of inner development. Development should come from within. not through external compulsions. That is his idea, educational idea. So, Sri Aurobindo stressed the importance of inner development and consciousness in education. Consciousness means உணர்ந்து புரிதட்டிய ஒரு கல்வி, எதை உணர்ந்து செய்கின்ற ஒரு கல்வி, consciousness in education. What are the educational implications of Sri Aurobindo's ideas? The educational institutions should design curricula that support holistic development. Educational institutions should encourage self-reflection and personal growth among students. Educational institutions should foster an environment that nurtures spiritual and inner development. These are all educational implications arising out of Sri Aurobindo's educational ideas. Now let us concentrate on the educational ideas or the key contributions of Sri J. Krishnamurti, another philosopher. J. Krishnamurti emphasized the importance of self-awareness and questioning in education. Very important, but often they are asking this. So he meant education means it should make students self-aware, and you should be able to have the questioning attitude. Very important idea of J. Krishnamurti. So he emphasized the importance of self-awareness and questioning in education. The students are not supposed to take in anything that is taught. No, they should be able to question any truth, put them into test, and then they must believe in that. That is the idea J. Krishnamurti was having. So he criticized rote learning and traditional authority structures in education. The ideas from whoever comes, put it to test and then find out the truth of it and then believe in it. That is the idea he gives. So he criticized rote learning. Kuruttu manapaadathai veruthaar. Traditional authority structures also. There are people, he's authority in that, he's a great person like that. But any idea that comes from anyone should be put into test, should be questioned and then believed. That is his idea. Very important concept of education he has given. Then he advocated for education that fosters independent thinking and holistic understanding. So naturally self-awareness means the student should be able to think independently. So he advocated for education that fosters independent thinking and holistic understanding. The entire world should be understood. That is real consciousness in education. What are the educational implications arising out of Sri J. Krishnamurti's educational ideas? The educational institution should create a learning environment that encourages inquiry and critical thinking. These are the technical words we must understand. The questioning attitude, in other words, விமர்சன சிந்தனை மற்றும் கேள்வி கேட்கும் அந்த திறனை வளர்ப்பதுதான் கல்வியின் முக்கியமான பணி. அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு கற்றல் சூழலை ஏற்படுத்த வேண்டும் இவருடைய கொள்கைப்படி, கல்வி கொள்கைப்படி. So the educational institutions should create a learning environment that encourages inquiry and critical thinking. Then the schools should reduce the hierarchical structures in educational institutions. So many hierarchical structures. That means a padinilai அமைப்பு. That is there in our educational institution, but according to his views, the school should reduce hierarchical structures in education institution. Instead of having hierarchical structures, all the officials in the school should become friendly to the students. In other words, that is what he proposes perhaps. So one of the educational implications is that from J. Krishnamurti. So the school should reduce the hierarchical structures in educational institutions. The school should focus on developing students' self-awareness and independent thought processes. So a very important idea is this one of these, very important thing, self-awareness, questioning attitude. He criticized rote learning and even traditional authority structure he criticized, and he advocated only independent thinking and holistic and full understanding of the world. Consciousness. Okay. So these are very important ideas with regard to J. Krishnamurti. Very, very important. Often they are asking. The next one, next philosopher will be Paulo Freire. What are his key contributions? What are the educational ideas of Paulo Freire? He developed the concept of critical pedagogy, emphasizing education as a practice of freedom. Very important. Critical pedagogy is related to Paulo Freire. What is that critical pedagogy? So actually, he is the person who went to the downtrodden students, and then he said, they should be educated in the proper manner. The teacher should go to the slums and then teach them like that. The idea is that. So Paulo Freire. So he critiqued the banking model of education, advocating for dialogue and problem-posing education. Very important one, problem-posing education. So banking model of education we are having. So everything, a lot of information is there in the books, and we are, thrusting those ideas into the minds of the students. That is banking model of education. He hated that. He criticized the present educational system, that is banking model, where information is stored and given to the students, simply thrust into their minds. So he advocated for dialogue on problem-posing education, Paulo Freire. Next one, he emphasized the role of education in social justice and empowerment. That is why the pedagogy of the oppressed, it is the book written by him, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. So those who have been oppressed by the dominant classes should be educated properly so that the entire world lives in harmony. இந்த உலகம் முழுவதும் நலமாக வாழ வேண்டுமானால் ஏழை மக்களும் பயனுற வாழ்ந்தால்தான், அவர்களும் கல்வியினால் பயன்பெற்று வாழ்ந்தால்தான் ஹார்மனி என்பது, அதாவது உலக சமாதானம் என்பது சாத்தியம் என்பது அவருடைய கருத்து. ஆகவே சோஷியல் ஜஸ்டிஸ் அண்ட் எம்பவர்மெண்ட். He emphasized the role of education in social justice and empowerment. What are the educational implications that arise out of Paulo Freire's education? That is, implement of dialogical and participatory teaching methods. Simply don't thrust ideas, rather participate in the discussion of learning ideas. See, make students participate in teaching and learning process. So, educational institutions should implement dialogical, that is a discussion method, dialogical and participatory teaching methods. Very important point. It fosters, education institutions should foster critical thinking and consciousness among students. So, vimarsana parvai, vimarsana sindhanai. And educational institutions should use education as a tool for social change and empowerment of marginalized groups. Another important idea of Paulo Freire. That is, the educational institution should use the education as a tool for social change. So all are very important ideas of Paulo Freire. The pedagogy of the oppressed, that book has been written by a very important idea. The next philosopher is Mary Wollstonecraft. Is a lady. She is a lady. Mary Wollstonecraft, Westerner. Yes. What are her key contributions? A very important idea about her is that he advocated for women's rights and gender equality in education. Much earlier, in the 18th century itself. That's really great in her. Mary Wollstonecraft. He advocated for women's rights and gender equality in education. He criticized the lack of educational opportunities for women. He emphasized the importance of rational thinking and independence for women. So these are the key contributions. He emphasized the importance of rational thinking. பகுத்தறிவு சிந்தனை, பெண்களுக்கு ஒரு சுதந்திரம், இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ், சுயமாக அவர்கள் நடத்தல், இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் ஆஃப் விமன். ஸோ ஹி எம்பசைஸ் தட். ஹி கிரிட்டிசைஸ் த லேக் ஆஃப் எஜுகேஷனல் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் ஃபார் விமன். சரியான கல்வி சந்தர்ப்பங்கள் தரப்படவில்லை என்பது அவருடைய வாதம். மேரி வுல்ஸ்டன்கிராஃப்ட் 18th செஞ்சுரியிலே அவர் செய்தார் என்றால் அது புரட்சிகரமான ஒரு ஐடியாவாகத்தான் இருக்க முடியும். What are the educational implications that arise out of Mary Wollstonecraft ideas on education? That is, the educational institution or the schools should ensure equal educational opportunities for all genders. No, either males or females, all should be given equal opportunity. That is the implication we get from an educational idea. And then schools should promote gender equality and challenge stereotypes in the curriculum. What is happening in Afghanistan and some of the places, the girls are denied education there. Only up to high school level they can study. They cannot enter into the university. I think recently they promulgated certain laws against women welfare. No? So that is against this idea. So the schools should promote gender equality and challenge stereotypes in the curriculum. And the school should encourage critical thinking and independence in students. விமர்சன சிந்தனை மற்றும் சுதந்திரம். So let us talk about another important person, Nell Nodings. Who is this person? What are his key contributions in education? Nell Nodings. He developed the ethics of care theory, very important, care theory. மற்றவர்கள் மீது கரிசனம், அதற்கான ஒரு கொள்கை, கரிசனை கொள்கை, அன்பு கொள்கை, கரிசன கொள்கை, care theory. So Nell Nodings is equated with the ethics of care theory, emphasizing relationships and caring in education. The education should be caring for the student, for the needs of the student. Each student is so important. Each student should be cared by the education institutions. So care theory, ethics of care theory he proposed. Nell Nodings, very important concept. He critiqued traditional education for neglecting the emotional and the relational aspects. So traditional education he criticized for neglecting the emotional and relational aspects. What is happening in the education institution? Knowledge, information. By doing that, he criticized that education institutions are not at all worried about the emotional and the relational aspects of the students. நல்ல உறவு பின்னணியில் வாழக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழ்நிலையை எஜுகேஷன் இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் தரவில்லை என்பது அவருடைய குற்றச்சாட்டு. உணர்வு ரீதியான கல்வியை அவர்களுக்கு தரவில்லை என்பது குற்றச்சாட்டு. அதை இப்பொழுது நியூ எஜுகேஷன் பாலிசியெல்லாம் அதே போல் புதிய கல்விக்குள் 1986 கல்விக்குள்ளையெல்லாம் மாற்றி இருக்கிறோம். வேல்யூ எஜுகேஷன், மாரல் எஜுகேஷன் என்பதெல்லாம் கொடுக்க வேண்டும். இதன் அடிப்படையில் தான் அதை செய்திருக்கிறோம். இருந்தாலும் கூட இன்னும் கூட இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் என்பது தான் அது மேல் நிற்கிறது. So he criticized traditional education for neglecting the emotional and relational aspects. He advocated for an education that nurtures students' well-being and moral development. So this Nell Nodings advocated for an education that nurtures students' well-being and moral development. In a way, it's a student-centered education he believed in. And also emotional and relational aspects, the schools should promote in the minds of the students. Very important idea of this Nell Nodings. What are the educational implications that arise out of this person, Nell Nodings? Educational institutions or schools should foster caring relationships between teachers and students. Schools and colleges should include emotional moral education in the curriculum. Of course, we are having today in today's education. And educational institutions should create a supportive and nurturing school environment. Each and every student should be supported. That is his idea. So the nurturing school environment is very, very important according to his educational idea. That is Nell Nodings. The next one is Savitribai Phule. This is our Indian woman who has contributed a lot in the 17th century itself. What are her key contributions? A pioneer of women's education, like Mary Wollstonecraft's, that Mary. In the beginning we were talking about it, and she is a Westerner. Now the Savitribai Phule is the Indian. So she is the pioneer of women's education and social reform in India in 17th century itself. She established the first school for girls in India. So the very important point is this one. Savitribai Phule is the first lady who established the first school for girls in India. She advocated for the education of marginalized communities and fought against caste discrimination. So he promoted the education for poor communities, marginalized, oppressed communities, and she fought against caste discrimination. சாதிய பாகுபாட்டிற்கு எதிராக நின்றார் என்பது மிக மிக முக்கியமான ஒரு கருத்து. The Savitribai Phule. What are the educational implications that arise out of Savitribai Phule? Educational institutions should prioritize, should give importance to the education of girls and marginalized groups. So very important. Prioritize means முன்னுரிமை தரணும்ன்றாங்க. மகளிருக்கான கல்வி, பெண்களுக்கான கல்வி அல்லது ஓரங்கட்டப்பட்ட அந்த மக்களுக்கு கல்வியில் முதலிடம் தர வேண்டும் என்பது ஒரு புரட்சிகரமான ஒரு சிந்தனை சாவித்திரிபாய் புலே. Prioritize, so according to her idea, the education institution should give more importance to the education of girls and marginalized groups. Then educational institutions should promote inclusivity and equality in education. No one should be avoided, neglected. Everyone should be taken into the school system. So schools should promote inclusivity and equality in education. The educational institutions should challenge the social norms and discrimination through education. So the school should challenge the social norms, because social norms sometimes were unjust, oppressive. So that should be challenged according to her. No, that is what she did. No, so she was going against the currents of her times. No doubt about it. And who will do this? No, those days women were not so much respected in 17th century and all. That we know from history of women. No, so we know that. So that way she challenged the social norms and discrimination. So the education institution also should challenge social norms and discrimination through education. These thinkers collectively contributed to a more inclusive, holistic and socially aware educational system that emphasizes moral values, critical thinking and the holistic development of individuals. Their ideas continue to influence educational practices and policies aimed at fostering social change. No doubt about it. சமூக மாற்றத்திற்கு இவர்கள் சொல்லிய அந்த கருத்துக்களும் அதை ஒட்டி இன்றைய கல்வி அமைப்புகள் செய்யக்கூடிய எல்லா செயல்பாடுகளுமே சோஷியல் சேஞ்ச், சமூக மாற்றத்திற்கான வித்திடுகின்றன, சமூக மாற்றத்திற்காக வித்திடுகின்றன என்று நாம் சொல்ல முடியும். Some of the questions we will just very short, some important questions only we are discussing in this. Swami Vivekananda, which of the following was a key educational contribution of Swami Vivekananda? Is it promotion of vocational training, emphasis on character building and spiritual education, advocacy for co-education, introduction of Western education? No doubt about it. He emphasized on character building, as we already discussed. So emphasis on character building and spiritual education is the right answer. And how do you explain this? Swami Vivekananda emphasized the importance of character building and spiritual education. He believed that education should not only impart knowledge but also foster moral and spiritual development. His ideas focused on holistic development, integrating physical, mental and spiritual growth. Now let us have one important question about Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore's educational philosophy is best exemplified by which of the following institutions? Banaras Hindu University, Visva-Bharati University, Nalanda University, Aligarh Muslim University. There is a power cut. So dear friends, there is a power cut. Never mind, I think we will set right. But I think you will be able to understand the verses. But let us just try to finish it. Yes. So Rabindranath Tagore's educational philosophy is best exemplified by which of the following institution? That is Visva-Bharati University, Rabindranath Tagore. Of course, we know about it. Tagore founded a Visva-Bharati University in Sandringhata in 1951, which embodied his educational ideals. He promoted an education system that encouraged creativity, freedom, and a close relationship with nature, contrasting with a rigid and rote-based colonial education system. He was against the colonial education system of the British, no doubt about it. Then Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi's concept of education, Nai Talim, primarily focused on what? Theoretical knowledge, learning through industrial work, basic education through handicrafts, higher education in foreign university. So his idea is on basic education through handicrafts, very important one. So Mahatma Gandhi's concept of education, Nai Talim, focused on basic education through handicrafts. கைத்தொழில் வழியாக அடிப்படை கல்வி. So Nai Talim or basic education, both are same thing. The meaning of Nai Talim is basic education, proposed by Gandhiji, emphasized learning through productive handicrafts. Gandhiji believed that education should be self-sufficient. Yeah, it is there, yes. So, Gandhiji believed that education should be self-sufficient and that students should learn by doing, integrating work with learning to develop practical skills and self-reliance. Very important idea, practical skills and self-reliance of Mahatma Gandhi. Then Aurobindo. Aurobindo's education philosophy aimed at the development of what? Of course, one word, integral development of body, mind and spirit. Everything should be integrated. ஒருங்கிணைந்த கல்வி, உடல், மனம், ஆன்மா இவற்றின் ஒருங்கிணைந்த கல்வி. So integrated development of body, mind and spirit. That is Aurobindo's educational philosophy. Aurobindo's educational philosophy focused on the integral development of the individual, encompassing physical, mental and spiritual growth. He believed education should facilitate the realization of one's inner self and lead to the holistic development of the person. The next person is Jiddu Krishnamurti. What is the question on Jiddu Krishnamurti, J. Krishnamurti? Jiddu Krishnamurti's approach to education emphasized what? Jiddu Krishnamurti's approach to education emphasized what? Is it a rote memorization and exam kuruttu manapadama, freedom from authority and self-inquiry, strict discipline and obedience, emphasis on religious studies. We already seen freedom from authority. The அதிகார வர்க்கத்திலிருந்து அல்லது அதிகார அந்த ஹயரார்கி படிநிலையிலிருந்து மாணவர்களுக்கு ஒரு விடுதலை வேண்டும் சொன்னார். So freedom from authority and self-inquiry, questioning attitude. எதையும் உடனே ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளாமல் கேள்வி கேட்டு அதை சோதனைக்கு உட்பட்ட ஒரு விஷயத்தை நம்ப வேண்டும் என்று சொல்பவர் J. Krishnamurti. So self-inquiry. So freedom from authority and self-inquiry is the right answer. So he focused on this in education. That is freedom from authority and self-inquiry. So Krishnamurti advocated for an education that encourages self-inquiry, critical thinking and freedom from authority. He believed that true education is about understanding oneself and the world through observation and inquiry rather than mere accumulation of knowledge. Then Paulo Freire. What is the question on Paulo? Just we are asking one very important question, that's all. Of course, you will be also studying from the B.Ed. M.Ed. courses, but for the sake of revision for the exam, we are going little fast, emphasizing the most important aspects of each person. So, Paulo Freire's pedagogy of the approach, that is the book, focuses on what? Banking model of education, dialogical method and critical consciousness, or traditional lecture method, or standardized testing. So, the Paulo Freire's pedagogy of the approach focuses on dialogical method and critical consciousness. That is a discussion method, in other words. Critical consciousness. விமர்சன உணர்வு எதையுமே கேள்வி கேட்டு புரிந்து கொள்ளக்கூடிய அந்த critical consciousness. So the dialogical method and critical consciousness, especially he was for the poor, downtrodden people, students. So Freire's pedagogy of the oppressed criticizes the traditional banking model of education, where students are passive recipients of knowledge. Instead, he advocates for a dialogical method that encourages critical thinking and consciousness, empowering learners to challenge and transform oppressive structures. I hope you understand the general meaning. Now let us go for Mary Wollstonecraft, that Western lady who promoted women education, in other words. So Mary Wollstonecraft. So Mary Wollstonecraft is best known for her advocacy of vocational training for men, higher education for men, equal educational opportunities for women, military training in education, which is the right one. Equal educational opportunities for women he promoted. So very, very nice. I think that is the key theme with regard to her educational idea. So Wollstonecraft in her seminal work, A Vindication of the Rights of Women, he has written a book, A Vindication of the Rights of Women, argued for equal educational opportunities for women. She believed that women's education was crucial for their empowerment and for the progress of society as a whole. That is what she believed, no? Wollstonecraft. Then Nell Noddings, what is the important question? Nell Noddings' contribution to educational thought is centered around which of the following concepts? Standardized curriculum, care ethics and relational teaching, rigid disciplinary methods, competitive academic environment. Which is the right one? Of course, we already seen care ethics and relational teaching. அதாவது ஆசிரியர் மாணவரோடு ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு உறவு, a friendly atmosphere that you should create. Care ethics, each student should be cared for. So the இரக்க உணர்வோடு அல்லது பராமரிக்கக்கூடிய அந்த அறநெறியை அவர் கொண்டு வருகிறார். அது ரொம்ப முக்கியமான ஒன்று இன்றைய காலகட்டத்தில். So the net contribution to educational thought is centered on care ethics and relational teaching. நல்ல உறவு பாடம் அமைப்பது கல்வி சூழல். So the care ethics and relational teaching is the core idea of Nell Noddings. Noddings emphasized the importance of care ethics in education, advocating for relational teaching practices that prioritize the well-being and emotional needs of students. Very important. So the emotional needs of the students are not addressed in many of the institutions. That should be done according to him. She believed that education should foster a caring relationship and moral development. That is one-to-one relation. Today we are talking about individual attentions to students. Exactly the same thing. No? Caring relation is nothing but individual attention to each and every student in the class by the teacher. So that is what she means. Noddings. Next is Savitribai Phule. Savitribai Phule is renowned for her work in what? Establishing technical institutes, promoting women's education and social reform in India, advocating for higher education for men, introducing Western education in rural areas. Which is the right one? Savitri Phule is renowned for her work in women's education. She promoted women's education and social reform in India. Very important one, both. Not only women's education, in Samuga Sirtha. இந்தியாவில் சமூக சீர்திருத்தத்தை பற்றி பேசியவர் சாவித்ரிபாய் புலே. So she only opened the first school for girls in India. It's a very important idea on Savitribai Phule. So Savitribai Phule was a pioneer in women's education and social reform in India. Along with her husband Jyotitra Phule, she established the first school for girls in Pune and worked tirelessly to eradicate caste and gender-based discrimination through education. So very important. She was originated from Pune. Now we go to the third area in the fourth part, that is national values as enshrined in the Indian Constitution. Socialism, secularism, justice, liberty, democracy, equality, freedom with a special reference to education. So national values as enshrined in the Indian Constitution. National values enshrined in the Indian Constitution. First is socialism. What are the key points with regard to socialism? Samuga Purladara Samatvam, socialism, Samatvam. So emphasis on reducing economic inequality. Purladara Samatvam, socialism. So emphasis on reducing economic inequalities. பொருளாதார சீர்கேட்டை குறைப்பது, அதாவது சோஷலிசம், முக்கியமான ஐடியா ஆஃப் சோஷலிசம். It promotes a collective ownership and equitable distribution of resources. Collective ownership. அதனால தான் அந்த தொழிற்சங்கங்கள் எல்லாம் அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு நிலையை எடுக்கின்றார். அது லாபத்தில் எங்கள் பங்கு கொடு என்று அவர்கள் போராடுவார். So collective ownership and equitable distribution of resources. Then focuses on social welfare and public sector development. So that is socialism. Socialism focuses on social welfare. சமூக நலனில் அக்கறை கொண்டிருக்கிறது. Public sector development. எல்லாமே பொதுவாக இருக்கணும், எல்லா இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸும் பொதுவாக இருக்கணும். இப்போ ரயில்வே, விமான நிலையம் பொதுவாக இருக்கிறது போன்று அது தனியாருக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டதாக சொல்கிறார். ஆனால் அதெல்லாம் பொதுவாக இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று உள்ளது சோஷியலிசம். தென் எஜுகேஷனல் இம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ். Educational policies should aim to reduce the disparities by providing equal access to quality education for all. Curriculum should include socialist principles, fostering a sense of community and shared responsibility. So, the community should be built up. That is the educational implication in the school. Schools should promote inclusive practices, ensuring marginalized groups receive support and opportunities. எளிய மக்கள் பயன்பெற வேண்டும், ஆதரவு பெற்றுக்கொள்ள வேண்டும் பள்ளிக்கூடங்களில். ஸோ ஸ்கூல் ஷுட் ப்ரொமோட் இன்க்ளூசிவ் ப்ராஜெக்ட், அனைவரும் ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளப்படக்கூடிய செயல்பாடுகளை பள்ளிக்கூடங்கள் கொண்டிருக்க வேண்டும் என்பது இந்த செக்குலரிசம் என்ற அந்த தத்துவத்தினுடைய அடிப்படையில் வரக்கூடிய கல்வி கருத்து. ஸோ கீ பாயிண்ட்ஸ் என்று செக்குலரிசம் கீ பாயிண்ட் என்சூஸ் ஈக்குவல் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் ரிலிஜன். செக்குலரிசம் என்பது வேறு, இது வேறு. இது சோஷியலிசம், சமத்துவம். செக்குலரிசம் என்பது மதச்சார்பின்மை, அது நமக்கு தெரியும், மதச்சார்பின்மை. What is secularism? Ensures equal treatment. Ensures equal treatment of all religions by the state. It promotes a religious freedom and the right to practice, propagate and profess any religion. Very important. So religions anyone can practice in their own way according to their faith, but the government will not interfere in their conviction on faith, everything. So what are the educational implications? Educational institutions must be neutral and non-discriminatory towards all religions. ஸோ நாட்டில் எந்த பேதமும் இருக்கக்கூடாது, மதத்தின் அடிப்படையில் பேதங்களை காட்டக்கூடாது. கல்வி நிறுவனங்கள் அது சமநிலையில் இருக்க வேண்டும். Curriculum should teach about different religions to promote understanding and tolerance. Schools should celebrate diverse cultural and religious festivals to foster an inclusive environment. எல்லா கலாச்சார மற்றும் மத ரீதியான கொண்டாட்டங்களை அனைவரும் கொண்டாட செய்ய வேண்டும் என்பது ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு கருத்து, தாக்கம் இந்த செகுலரிசம் என்ற அந்த கல்வி கருத்திலிருந்து வருகிறது. அடுத்து ஜஸ்டிஸ், நீதி, அதனுடைய அமைப்பு என்ன, அதை பற்றி நாம் என்ன சொல்ல முடியும்? social, economic and political justice is guaranteed to all citizens in India. நீதி என்பது சமூக, பொருளாதார, அரசியல் நீதி அனைவருக்கும் தரப்படுகிறது, உறுதியளிக்கப்படுகிறது எல்லா குடிமகனும். Aims to create a fair and equitable society. So the justice aims to create a fair and equitable, சமத்துவ மற்றும் நீதியான ஒரு சமூகம். What are the educational implications? Education should be accessible to all regardless of socio-economic background. School policies should address issues like discrimination, bullying and inequality. Curriculum should include lessons on social justice, legal rights and civic responsibilities. So all these things are about this justice. These are the educational implications with regard to educational institutions. Then liberty, vidudalai, freedom. So what does this mean in educational institutions? What are the key points about liberty? It ensures freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. It protects individual freedoms while maintaining social order. அந்த சமூக ஒழுங்கை நிலைநாட்டுகின்ற அதே சமயத்தில் தனி மனித சுதந்திரத்தையும் பாதுகாக்கிறது லிபர்ட்டி என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய இந்த விஷயம், விடுதலை. What are the educational implications? Schools should foster an environment where students can freely express their thoughts and beliefs. Curriculum should encourage critical thinking, creativity and individual expression. Educational institutions should respect and protect students' personal freedoms and rights. So these are the educational implications. Then democracy, that is Jananayagam, democracy. What are the key points? The foundation of the Indian political system, promoting participation and representation. அடிப்படை இந்திய அரசியல் அமைப்புக்கு மிக ஆதாரமாக இருப்பது democracy, ஜனநாயகம். It ensures that all citizens have a voice in the governance process. எல்லா குடிமக்களுக்கும் உரிமை இருக்கிறது குரல் எழுப்புவது, கவர்னன்ஸ் ப்ராசஸ். அதான் எல்லாவற்றையும் இவர்களே மக்களால் மக்களுக்காக மக்கள் மூலம் ஆளப்படுவது என்று நாம் சொல்ல முடியும். So all citizens have a voice in the governance process. What are the educational implications? Schools should participate, should practice democratic principles, allowing students to participate in decision-making processes. Curriculum should cover the functioning of democratic institutions and the importance of active citizenship. Then extracurricular activities like student councils and debates should be encouraged to build leadership skills. That is democracy. Leaders should be created by education institution. That is the idea here. Then equality, சமத்துவத்தை பற்றிய அடிப்படையான புள்ளிகள் என்ன? Key points. Guarantees equal opportunities to all citizens. எல்லாருக்கும் சமமான வாய்ப்புகள் அளிக்கப்படுகின்றன. It prohibits, that is equality prohibits discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Discrimination அந்த பிரிவினைவாதம் இருக்கக்கூடாது. மத அடிப்படையில், இன அடிப்படையில், சமூக அடிப்படையில் அல்லது பாலின அடிப்படையில், பிறந்த இடத்தின் அடிப்படையில் இருக்கக்கூடாது. prohibits discrimination. பிரிவினைவாதத்தை தகர்க்கிறது. What are the educational implications? Educational policies should aim to eliminate barriers and provide equal opportunities for all students. Schools should adopt inclusive teaching methods and provide support for disadvantaged students. Curriculum should emphasize the importance of equality and respect for diversity. பலதரப்பட்ட கலாச்சாரங்களை ஏற்றுக்கொள்வதற்கான ஒரு சமத்துவம். This is education implication. What is freedom? What are the important points with regard to freedom? சுதந்திரம். It encompasses various freedoms such as speech, movement and association. நகர்வதற்கு பேச்சுரிமை, கூடுவதற்கு அசோசியேஷன், சங்கங்கள் அமைத்துக் கொள்வதற்கெல்லாம் உரிமை இருக்குது. It ensures that citizens can live without undue restrictions. அதாவது தேவையற்ற தடைகள்லாம் இல்லாமல் எல்லா குடிமகன்களும் வாழ முடியும் என்பதை உறுதி செய்கிறது ஃப்ரீடம். What are the educational implications? Schools should create a supportive environment where students feel free to explore and pursue their interests. Curriculum should cover the concept of freedom and its implications in personal and social context. Educational institutions should safeguard students' rights to freedom of expression and assembly. So all these things are the rights given by the values enshrined in the constitutions. So what is the summary? How to conclude? The national values enshrined in the Indian Constitution: socialism, secularism, justice, liberty, democracy, equality and freedom profoundly impact education. கல்வியிலே செல்வாக்கு செலுத்துகின்ற மிக ஆழமான முறையில். Educational policies and practices should be aligned with these values to promote an inclusive, fair and democratic societies. Schools play a crucial role in instilling these values, ensuring that students grow up with a strong sense of social responsibility, tolerance and civic engagement. Now ஒரு சில கேள்விகளை முன்வைப்போம். Which of the following principles is not explicitly mentioned in the preamble of the Indian Constitution? அதில் இல்லாத ஒரு விஷயம், இந்தியன் கான்ஸ்டியூஷன் அந்த preamble, அந்த முன்னால் சொல்லப்படக்கூடிய அந்த முன்னுரையில் இல்லாத விஷயம் எது? கேபிட்டலிசம். சோசியலிசம், டெமோக்ரஸி, செகுலரிசமும் இருக்கிறது அந்த வார்த்தையில். கேபிட்டலிசம் என்ற வார்த்தை நிச்சயமாக இருக்காது கான்ஸ்டியூஷன், அரசியலமைப்பு. So the preamble of the Indian Constitution explicitly mentions socialism, secularism and democracy. However, it does not mention capitalism. Capitalism is முதலாளித்துவம். Because India follows a mixed economic system combining elements of both socialism and capitalism. So separately they won't give the word capitalism in the constitutions, right? The term socialist was added to the Indian Constitution by which amendment? Socialist. That word was given in the 42nd amendment, very important one, 1976. The 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 added the terms socialist and secular to the preamble, emphasizing the commitment to social and economic equality, very important one. So this particular word is socialist, that came in the 42nd Amendment Act of 1986. So a very important one. Then, which article of the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to equality? That is a right to equality, சமத்துவத்துக்கான உரிமை. Article 14. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to equality, ensuring that every individual is treated equally before the law. Then which of the following articles provides for the right to education in India? Article 19, Article 21, Article 21A, Article 25. That is Article 21A. What is the question? Which of the following articles provides for the right to education in India? Article 21A. So Article 21A added by the 86th Amendment Act of 2002. So at that time it was promulgated. 86th Amendment Act. It provides for the right to education, providing it a fundamental right for children aged 6 to 14 years. Very important concept. Article 21A by the 86th Amendment Act of 2002. That is right to education. Then secularism in the Indian context means what? That's another question. Secularism means what? The state has its own religion, equal respect and recognition for all religions by the state, preference to the majority religion, the state has no religion at all. What is the correct answer? Equal respect and recognition for all religions by the state. Secularism in India means the state treats all religions equally and does not favor any religion over another. It ensures freedom of religion for all citizens. Then justice. With regard to justice, we can ask very important question. Justice as enshrined in the Indian Constitution is reflected in which aspects? நீதி பரிபாலனம் எதிலெல்லாம் நிலைநாட்டப்படுகிறது? கீழ் வரக்கூடிய அந்த அம்சங்களில் social, economic and political, social and economic only, political, cultural only, legal and moral. Of course, Indian Constitution மூன்று விஷயங்களை பற்றி பேசுகிறது. social, economic and political. அது அந்த வார்த்தைகளே வைத்திருக்கிறது. social, economic and political. The preamble of the Indian Constitution ensures justice in social, economic and political aspects, aiming to eliminate inequalities and provide fair treatment to all citizens. Then the principle of liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship is provided in which part of the Indian Constitution? That is preamble in the Indian Constitution. So is it the fundamental duties, rights and directive principles of state policy or preamble? So the principle of liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship is provided in preamble of the Indian Constitution. So the preamble of the Indian Constitution includes the principle of liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, highlighting the commitment to individual freedoms. In the context of education, which of the following is not a fundamental right under the Indian Constitution? That கீழே சொல்லப்பட்டதுல ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து fundamental right இல்லை. அது எது? Is it right to education, right to information, right to free and compulsory education for children aged to 6 to 14? These are all true. But right to employment, it is not guaranteed actually. Okay, maybe it is given in a very indirect manner, but straight away it is not given. Right to employment. So while the right to education and right to free and compulsory education for children are fundamental rights, the right to employment is not listed as a fundamental right in the Indian Constitution. That we have to understand. Dear friends, the next question on the Indian Constitution. Which article of the Indian Constitution ensures the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice to minority? Minority education institution எந்த ஆர்டிகல் வந்து ப்ரோமோட் செய்கிறது, ஆதரிக்கிறது? Article 30. Article 30 of the Indian Constitution grants minorities the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice, thereby preserving their cultural and educational rights. Next one, democracy in the Indian Constitution is based on which of the following principles? Rule of the majority only, rule of law, free and fair elections and protection of minority rights, concentration of power, rule of a single party. Of course, you will be understanding by this time. Democracy in the Indian Constitution is based on rule of law, free and fair elections and protection of minority rights. That is very important. Democracy means that is the rule of law, free and fair elections and protection of minority rights. So democracy in India is based on the rule of law, free and fair elections and the protection of minority rights, ensuring a balanced and inclusive governance system. So This question and answer cover the essential aspects of national values as enshrined in the Indian Constitution, particularly in relation to socialism, secularism, justice, liberty, democracy, equality and freedom, with a focus on their application in the field of education. Dear friends, thank you very much. God bless you abundantly. I think we have covered the entire Unit 1. Hereafter we will be very free in Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, Unit 7, Unit 8, Unit 9, Unit 10. All important ideas will be given within 2.5 days. I am sure about it. And night and day I am working for your sake. I am sure you will be, if you go through all this, you will be getting the correct information, and then the type of questions are also very easy to follow, and also it is going to come there also in my opinion, because according to the syllabus I am giving this, I am sure you will be benefiting a lot. God bless you abundantly, dear friends. Kindly subscribe for my videos.